Pigs at Odds, Fun with Math and Games by Amy Axelrod. Mr. Pig and the piglets were raring to go. "We want to go on the ride," said the piglets. "And I want to try my luck at the game," said Mr. Pig. "Hold your horses," said Mrs. Pig. "Both are great ideas, except for one thing." "What's that?" asked the piglets. "We can't be in two places at the same time," she said. "No problem," said Mr. Pig. "Why don't I just flip a coin? Heads we play games first, and tails we go on rides first." "Fair enough," said Mrs. Pig, and she handed Mr. Pig a penny. "All right," said the piglets. Let's rock and roll. The pigs tumbled down slides, steered bumper cars, and dipped up and down on the carousel. "Kids," asked Mr. Pig, "are you ready to go win some prizes now?" "Not yet," they said. "We want to go on the colossal coaster." "But you're not tall enough," said Mrs. Pig. The piglets grinned and pointed to the sign. The pigs wobbled over to the games. "Come on, dear," said Mrs. Pig. "Let's take a chance on this spin of the wheel." Mr. and Mrs. Pig each put down 1/4 at 4 different times, but the wheel never landed on the right space. The pigs grew tired of waiting and got tattooed at the booth next door. "Dad, try the basketball game," said the piglets. "They've got good prizes." Mr. Pig bounced the basketball into the basket on the first try. "Lucky shot," said the piglets. "Do it again." But after Mr. Pig tried for the 8th time, Mrs. Pig tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Dear, I don't think the odds are in your favor." "Just one more time," said Mr. Pig as he put down another $2. "I've got a good chance of winning." "I think we got a better chance of seeing a 2-headed snake," said Mrs. Pig. Mrs. Pig and the piglets dragged Mr. Pig down the midway. "You were right, dear," said Mr. Pig. "I should have quit while I was ahead of the game." The piglets shared a bucket of rings while Mr. Pig tested his strength. "Sweetie, why don't you try bowling?" suggested Mrs. Pig. "No, you go ahead." "That's more up your alley," said Mr. Pig. So Mrs. Pig gave it a try. She walked away with 2 medium-sized toys for the piglets. "I'm down to my bottom dollar," said Mr. Pig. "Well then," said Mrs. Pig, "here's the perfect game for you and the children. 3 tries for $1. I have a hunch you're going to win this time." Mr. Pig came in first and surprised Mrs. Pig by giving her his free game. "Don't you want to try for a giant prize?" she asked him. "I have all the prizes I need," said Mr. Pig, giving her a hug. "Besides, the fun is really in the trying." Mr. and Mrs. Pig gripped the bar tightly and screamed, "We should have quit when we were ahead of the..." Probability is the chance that something will happen. The probability of chance of the sun rising in the morning is 100% because it always happens. The probability of the moon turning bright pink is 0% because it never happens. The probability of you getting a letter in the mail can be anywhere from 0% to 100%, depending on how many friends you have to write to. What makes the game fair? If every player has equal odds or chances of winning, then the game is fair. Mr. Pig needed the spinner to land on September to win. What is the probability that this will happen? Mrs. Pig needed the spinner to land on November. What is the probability that this will happen? Mr. and Mrs. Pig played the game 4 times. Did their odds of winning change with each game? Is the game fair? 10 players can sit at the fill the water balloon game at one time. What are the odds of winning? Can you show it as a fraction? The bonus question: how much money did the pig spend on rides and games?